Whatever it takes, I'm going to get you guys, all right?
Walter gets agents excited, gets them pumped up.
And guess what? All the other top producing real estate agents understand this concept also.
He brings so much energy when he comes to the audience. It's a great learning experience, and it also gives them a unique opportunity to get a different perspective on how to attain more business.
Thank you very much for reviewing our interactive CD and marketing kit. We love this business, and we'd love to play a part on your educational team. We know that we can change the lives of your attendees. Thank you again for thinking of Walter Sanford.
Everyone has a different story of how they became involved in real estate. Like his real estate career, Walter Sanford's start into real estate was a bit extraordinary.
See, when I was 16 years old in California, get this magazine called Popular Mechanics. In the back, there was this advertisement for oil and gas lease lottery, run by the federal government, U.S. federal government, where you could actually win by lottery oil and gas leases where the government didn't think there was any oil and gas on them. And they put them up for lottery. Atlantic Richfield had an equal chance of winning these untapped oil and gas lands as private citizens, and it cost $20 for a lottery ticket. Well, I didn't have $20. So I mowed a few lawns, borrowed $10 from Dad, threw in my $20. I'm 16 years old, so I promptly forgot about it. Until about 4 months later, a guy from Roswell, New Mexico, flies up unannounced to my little home in Pasadena, California, my parents' home. And I came to the door, and he said, "Son, are you Walter Sanford?" And I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Son, you've won an oil and gas lease in Campbell County, Wyoming." I said, "Cool." He says, "You don't understand. I'm prepared to pay you $10,000 to the rights to that lease tonight." I heard a bump in the living room. It was my dad rolling off the couch, getting up screaming, "Don't take the first offer!" First piece of business advice he'd ever given me. He runs to the front door, shoos the guy away, tells him we'll get back to him later, goes ahead and hires a service to find out who owns oil and gas leases around this lease. Atlantic Richfield happened to be one of them. He contacted them, said, "Hey, we got this lease won by the federal government. Are you interested in acquiring more area in around your leasehold?" They said yes. He said, "How much?" They said, $36,000. Oh my God. What does a 16-year-old do with $36,000, you guys? Southern California. What's my only desire in my life? Oh, yeah, 2 desires. What's the second desire? Yeah, chicks. So, what got the best chick? What kind of car? Porsche! So I went to Dad and I said, "I got the plan for my money." And he said, "Son, you forget, I put in half the money." Shoot. 18 grand still bought a used 914. So I came on plan B. He says, "That's not going to happen." He says, "It's a hot real estate market here in the 70s, and you can't lose. My dad says, my real estate broker told us we can't lose. We're buying a fourplex with the proceeds." And he says, "Son, we're going to teach you how to run it." I said, "Dad, what about the car?" He said, "Son, I haven't forgotten about the car." Dad held out $400 for, you know what you can buy for $400 30 years ago? Pretty much the same thing you can buy now, a red Datsun. You guys know what a Datsun is pre-Nissan. And my dad, the world's greatest salesperson, he said, "Son, what you do is you put the blonde in the Datsun and you drive her by the fourplex. You explain to her that you own it, and he promised me that the same thing would happen." So I'm a proud owner of a fourplex in El Monte, California, cleaning human hair out of the corners of bathrooms on my days off. But you guys would come by and say, "Hey, we need listings. It's a hot market. We can double your money." I said, "Let me get Dad's okay." Dad said, "Sure." You put it on the market. You sold it in 2 weeks. You doubled my money. I asked you, "Can this always be done?" And you all said in unison, "Of course, you can't lose money in real estate." I said, "Let's do it again."
Many multi-million-dollar real estate investments and many cars later, Walter soon realized how real estate can be a fickle friend.
Oh, there is nobody bigger than me. Forbes magazine's doing articles on young, self-made millionaires in Southern California. I told them I don't have the time. Oh, gosh, I'm big! Until 1979 rolls around. Anybody around in 79? What happens at 22.5% mortgage interest rates, guys? What happens? Nothing happens. You have to wait for your phone to ring. It's like you have to check it for dial tone because nothing happens. And that's what I got caught in, about 400 units worth, about 1981, at 21% mortgage interest rates. And I started losing buildings, which, by the way, is okay in California because we have something called the anti-deficiency statute in California, which says, hey, lose as much money at the banks as you'd like because they can't come after you personally. Guess what isn't true in Seattle and Phoenix, guys? They owned me. I graduated from college, $1.7 million in debt. I said, Dad, what the heck do you do now? Dad said, get a job. What job, you guys, do you think I'm uniquely qualified for? Let me see. I've lost more money in real estate than most people have ever made in 5 or 6 lifetimes. He said I was uniquely qualified to become a real estate agent. So I had one house left that didn't have a kitchen. We were working on it. It hadn't been foreclosed on, so I moved into it. It was in Long Beach, California. I got my real estate license, and I went and interviewed. I thought you had to interview for a real estate job, and I did. She said, Walter, why do you want to become a real estate agent? I said, well, Rita, I got to make like $44,000 a month before I can even buy groceries. And she said, you're hired.
And from there, Walter stormed the Long Beach market to become one of the top realtors in the nation. Now Walter takes his personal experiences to share his success with other top real estate agents. Profitable and unique lead generation systems, real estate service team building, refined buyer services, and more.
First of all, I control a good niche of the for sale by owners. I'm showing you 4 for sale by owners that probably no one else will ever show you that meet your needs. Number 2, I looked at my personal database that I've been accumulating for a year or 30 years. Yeah, they don't care. And I have 4 clients who own a home of exactly what you're looking for. I'm going to call them to see if they ever consider selling it. Number 3, I went back to the expires and I found 5 properties that had been on the market at one time. I'm going to go ahead and write them a letter and ask if they're interested in going ahead and selling their home. And number 5, I have an office meeting at my office here every Wednesday morning, and sometimes people go ahead and announce listings that haven't hit the MLS yet. By 11 o'clock, I'll be calling you about all of our office listings that haven't hit the MLS. Next, Mr. Johnson, I'm going to be sending out a postcard announcing the fact that I have you and Mrs. Johnson as new pre-approved buyers, and I'm going to be sending to the area that you want to buy and looking for people.
Rates are low, markets are up. Rates are high, markets are down. Whatever the market, Walter has experience selling real estate in it.
Listen to this really carefully, because it will come. Does everybody have business cycles? Do you think the next 5 years are going to be as good as the last 5 years? I'm going to almost promise you that they are not. Okay? We've had 20, 30, 40% run-ups in prices in the last 5 years, maybe even more. And properties being fueled by a 5.5% fixed loan. I don't think that can stand there forever like that. And the minute the rates go up, what's going to happen? It's going to be a natural slowdown.
Building your business so that you can actually have a life is a concept that most agents find unable to achieve.
They told me when I first got in the business that you should be doing open houses. So I'm sitting there about my 4th week in the business, like a spider in a spider web, waiting for people to kind of happen in so I can like pounce on them. And so I can remember this guy. He's like the 4th guy that comes in on my first open house. He says, and I'm missing my F words: family, faith, fun, fitness, friends, all the things I usually do on Sunday. I'm a little mad that I'm there, and he comes in and he goes, hey, I could have bought this house for like $11,500 in 1946. I snapped. After my 4th week in the business, I said, hey, loser, why didn't you? And when I got home, I figured, okay, I'm not cut out for this open house stuff. But I kept really good records. And I figured out where my business came from, and a lot of clients actually came from an open house. I go, oh man, I can't believe I should probably have to do these things to meet the public. And so I started working on how can I make it fun. Remember, let's go back to the lead generation stuff. How can I make this thing fun? And so I do 15-minute open houses. Hang in there with me.
An innovator and creator for the last 30 years, Walter Sanford brings a passion and unique perspective to audiences, sharing his experience, his systems, and his strategies. Let Walter Sanford put his experience into action for you.
I took more notes today than any other time with any other speaker. Walter's presentation was chock full of helpful and useful information and I believe I can take back and utilize in my business today.